I think the people of my generation, a little bit older, a little bit younger, we have become used to the idea that our lives are safe. We're not used to death and changes. I just think it's going to be a huge shift in people's mentalities, in their expectations. I don't think anybody's really prepared for this. Ska vi öppna den? Ett nytt pussel till August. 16-foot 2x4s, a header, and here we have insulation. We're going to add some more insulation on the outer walls.
Is there any evidence to suggest that, as with malaria, it might be used as a prophylaxis against COVID-19?
No, the answer is no, and the evidence that you're talking about, John, is anecdotal evidence.
The respiratory coronavirus.
Not going to let the total solution.
The urgent matter this morning appears to be...
Okay, you look at the world that's going on right now. And the first thing people look at is obviously the disease, the virus, the spread, how many people are infected, how many people are dying, where's it going next, is there a treatment, did grandma get sick, all of those things. So that's number one. But then, of course, you have everything else that this affects. And you have the economy, the stock market, the job market, the education, just the future of the country, the political situation. One thing would have been too much for people to process. In the grand scheme of things, just the stock market crashing or the economy being affected or the virus. But you have everything going on, and I don't think that most people have it hasn't caught up to people yet, just the enormous scale of what's going on and the effect it's going to have. Are you going to do that? But it's kind of funny because it's easy to kind of be frustrated with everything that's going on, and there's so much contradicting information and so many different... there's this constant news things, but in the end, buildings are still going to be here. You still need business. Everything may slow down for a while, but everything...
Well, I guess it's just things are going to be different.
Things
right?
are going to be different, yeah.
That's, and you don't know how different they're going to be.
Yeah.
And you don't know where they're going to be different or how long they're going to be different. China and South Korea obviously were quite a bit more aggressive with this. And I don't think the United States could possibly be that aggressive. We cannot be aggressive as Spain or Italy, never mind South Korea or China.
It's like I think about what's actually changed right now. Okay, we don't go outside. Normally in the morning I would take August out to the park or the library or just somewhere to get out of the house a bit before getting to work. But recently we've been taking walks. I'm cooking like crazy. I bet I'm cooking twice as much as I used to because every single meal we cook at home. Which is fun, but it's fun in the beginning and then it gets kind of old. It's almost like when you do woodworking first as a hobby, but then if you start a business doing woodworking where you are like on a production schedule, it stops being fun. And I kind of think about like that with cooking too. Cooking is really fun when you don't have to cook all the time, but then when you have to, it kind of loses the appeal a little bit. What else is different? Because everything is the same, yet everything is different at the same time, I think. The other thing about what's going on here is that, we have a small business here. It's always kind of scary having a small business because you're on your own. There's no help to get in the same way as if you're employed at times. And in our experience, advertising opportunities have really dried up right now. So I just want to say a huge thank you to our patrons because you guys are so important right now. We really appreciate it. And if you'd like to become a patron, if you've been thinking about it, then I'll put a link in the description below. Saying that, I totally get it if this is not a good time for everyone to become patrons. I get that. This is hard on everyone, but I just wanted to put that out there and say thank you. This is just a text message from my mom. I sent her pictures. We went grocery shopping last night. So I'm sitting in the car in the parking lot of a grocery store. Matt just went in to get some stuff. I'm curious how much is going to be in the store because he was in here a couple of days ago and there was like no dairy, no meat, no vegetables. So I'm at home now and there was nothing to buy at the store, more or less. I mean, a couple of things here and there, but so many of the aisles were just empty. too weird, right? Can't even think about it. When you go through the store and you see that, you can't believe it. It's like you're in an apocalyptic movie. And you wouldn't think that you would ever be in that situation for real. But it's real. It's actually like this. And it's so mind-boggling that it's not a movie. We have become so used to watching The Walking Dead and disaster movies and things like that. And we have found this kind of thrill in that experience of imagining these disaster scenarios. But now we're in one. It's not that different. And when you look at many disaster movies, Contagion, let's say. I watched it the other day. I'd never seen it before, and it's like one of the most popular movies on Netflix right now. And of course, there are lots of similarities to what's going on right now. But I don't think they take it far enough. They, of course, need to have a movie that wraps up in a good little package and has an ending, and it's all really nice and crisp. But they are not going into the huge ramifications in terms of the economy and the world and the government and all of that.
It's going to be a difficult next year. I
Yep.
wouldn't say it's going to clear up anytime soon. First of all, you obviously have a very compressed event into the healthcare system, which is not going to be positive. And a lot of people, the healthcare system in the United States is 20% of the GDP. Mm-hmm. So it represents a lot of activity to begin with.
Yeah.
All that activity is on hold, that normal activity. Of course, if Ford starts making ventilators or masks, that means they're not making cars. It's very similar to when, during wartime,
Yeah.
there's usually this concept of, the government is spending money on guns instead of butter. That's a phrase people tend to use, guns and butter.
Huh.
And
I never
so,
heard that.
yeah, it's an old phrase. And right now, when you make ventilators and masks, that is guns.
Yeah.
Cars are butter.
Yeah.
So we're,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So luxury items or things that require innovation or whatever. Yeah, good job.
Sometimes I forget about what's going on. You come into these moments and it's like everything is normal. But then it hits you, and you kind of get this feeling of, I don't know. I've been going through like this range of emotions. I'm sure a lot of people have done that too. Going from overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, sad, and then kind of goes around and around. Just heading to a friend of mine. She's got chickens and ducks, and we're gonna get some eggs from her because there are no eggs at the grocery store. Yeah.
Of course, I also believe in the nonlinear. I believe that there's a lot of benefits that are likely to come from this to humanity.
Like what?
Improvements in biotech.
Oh.
Better responses to future viruses. Future issues.
A better prepared government.
Better
to
prepared
handle
health
things like
system.
that, right?
People are definitely going to be more willing to spend money on preparing for health emergencies. So every hospital after this is likely to be stocked better. People are also getting battlefield experience. The doctors who have never engaged
right.
in wartime situations like triage are getting that now.
Yeah. In these times, I find that it's really nice to check in with people and see how everyone's doing, and also kind of look for that human connection wherever possible. And here's a kind of a small but fun thing that I've joined, and that is the hashtag Tolstoy Together. There's this organization, I'll link it here, that are coming together for like a virtual book club. So every day you read 10 to 15 pages of Tolstoy's War and Peace, and then you can follow along other people's reactions to the same passage on Twitter and Instagram. It's Darwin. So it's just like a small thing, but I thought I would pass it along if you are into the same kind of things. Plus a good excuse to get your mind in a different direction and maybe read something that you normally wouldn't. You a good boy? Of course, in times of change, it's obviously always a good idea to look at things from this perspective of growth and experimentation and learning. Now, you may have all this time on your hands, which you previously didn't, and so you could finally take this opportunity to learn something which you didn't know before. Maybe play around in the shop, maybe pick up a new book, or try to learn a new instrument, or, learn something new. And that's kind of how I think about this channel moving forward and everything relating to this as well. I think about, okay, this is like, I could spend this time watching Netflix, which I will to some degree, but I can also kind of take this time and play around with things.
10 to 14 days can go by. The question is, what has happened over these last 10 to 14 days? Do we think the spread has gone down? I don't think there's any evidence of that at all. So that's why you're seeing the logarithmic sort of...
So this video was kind of checking in with you guys, just sharing a little bit about how life is here right now, kind of things I'm thinking about. I didn't want to make like a regular video, just a how-to video. I wanted to acknowledge the massiveness of the scale of everything. But I hope you are doing well. I hope you're safe at home. And next video will be a little bit more building and a little bit less talking. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.